92% of all the fires we have in Utah have been man-caused. That means they're all preventable.
It has moved so quickly. There's so much smoke.
All gone. We're just a community that just pitches in.
People stepped up.
We're just here to prove that we're there for them anytime they need us.
That's really kind of the hallmark of Utah.
This is exactly the fabric of our community. It's a mark of who we are.
When people are in crisis, everybody steps up. That's just the way we are out here.
This is a special KSL Firewatch report.
3 weeks ago, we brought you another Firewatch report. There were no major wildfires burning in the state then, but since then, wildfire season has exploded.
Tonight, firefighters are battling 6 active wildfires. The largest is the Dollar Ridge Fire out in Duchesne County.
We've watched all week as the massive blaze forced hundreds of people to flee. Tonight, we know many of you want to help, and we have some information on the best ways you can step in and support the evacuees.
We also have a new perspective on wildfire preparedness from a man who lost his home in a fast-moving fire in Moab. As we learn every year, wildfires can spark anywhere at any time, and families need to be ready to run at a moment's notice. There are some very easy things you can do tomorrow to make sure your family is fire ready, things you may not have thought of before.
But first, some strong words from Governor Gary Herbert.
The frustrating thing for me, and I think for everybody, is to know that with all the fires we've got going in Utah, and we have a lot of them, it's tinder-like conditions out there, it's dry, we've been through a drought, we all recognize this, but 92% of all the fires we have in Utah have been man-caused to this date, 92%. And that means they're all preventable. So we call upon everybody to be wise in what you do out there in the outdoors. With your ATVs, don't park a hot engine over a patch of weeds. Only do a campfire in a designated campground. Don't leave fires unattended. Be careful with fireworks. I mean, a lot of this is just common sense. And so, again, we need to be extra cautious, extra careful because of the conditions we find out there for fires. Again, 90% plus of people making mistakes is causing the fires out there, and that's not acceptable. So let's be careful. Let's remind each other. Let's be careful, and let's try to do what we can to avoid having a really catastrophic fire season in 2018.
Governor Herbert didn't have just harsh words of warning this week. He also recognized the incredible action of volunteers who jumped in to help the hundreds of evacuees from the Dollar Ridge fire.
As we reported from Duchesne County all week, we've seen neighbors and strangers providing food, water, clothing, and much more. Just further proof that when people are hurting, the Utah community cares.
I was impressed when I was told that they had 30 people at the shelter and they had 60 volunteers. It means that people really are stepping up to help out.
When I heard that the fire went right through them, I just wondered what I was going to find when I get up there. It's amazing how many people called wanting to help. I don't think I would have got them out myself. I needed the help.
When people are in crisis, everybody steps up. That's just the way we are out here. You step up and you do what you have to do, no matter what.
We just started bringing stuff last night, and the community heard about it. We've done everything together, spent our whole lives together. Our kids have played ball together, you know. We're just a community that just pitches in. This is exactly the fabric of our community. It's a mark of who we are. It didn't surprise me when I came down this morning. I think we had 3 volunteers for every evacuee that was here. It's just people jumping in where they see a need.
I met people with smiles on their faces and certainly a sense of gratitude for people stepping up and helping them. And we do care. That's Utah. And so we'll get through this. People will step up and help them, and they may need to rebuild, but we'll help them rebuild. That's really kind of the hallmark of Utah. We really do step up and help our neighbors, and so I appreciate that effort on behalf of these people who've lost their homes or maybe going to lose their homes.
And take a look at this. Volunteers in Duchesne actually say the amount of food and other goods donated has been overwhelming.
They're asking anyone who still wants to donate to consider cash instead of goods. You can give to the Red Cross or to Duchesne County. We've got a link to the donation site on our website, ksltv.com. Next, he ran with just the clothes on his back. Now he's sharing what he wished he'd done before the fire came tearing through his neighborhood so that you are better prepared. When a brush fire broke out in Moab last month, dozens of homeowners had only seconds to run to safety. 8 homes were completely destroyed.
Now, as they begin to rebuild their lives, they're sharing the lessons they've learned. News specialist Sean Moody has one man's story.
All we did was just walked off with what we had in our hands and the dog.
When a fire was sparked in the creek behind his home, Rick Kerrigan got out with his best friend Buster.
He's usually a little bit slower getting into the truck when I tell him to load up, but last night he was springing into that truck like a 7-year-old dog.
But he lost several other pets in the blaze.
We believe we lost 3 cats in our house, and that's just one of the things that happens when you have to evacuate as quick as we did.
Fires can come fast and furious, and after losing nearly everything he owns, Kerrigan has a few lessons for the rest of us.
As quick as that fire happened, I'd consider getting that 72-hour kit made up.
The Red Cross suggests always having a pack with water, food, and clothing and important documents ready to go at a moment's notice. But Kerrigan learned there are other essentials you might not think of in the heat of the moment.
Back up to the cloud, because I did not. And my computer is where my business is. And even though I backed up, I didn't have a backup offsite. I didn't have a backup in the clouds. My business is on my computer. And I'm going to tell you, if you've got a business, back up and back up offsite. Because I was scurrying around in my brain thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to rebuild my business?
Rick was lucky. Before the flames hit his property, firefighters were able to run inside and get his computer out. Another item he wished he'd had time to grab?
Always have your cell phone at least charged. And one other thing, I got away from the house without a charger. I had a charger in the truck, but I didn't have one for when we got there. But those things are small things. The big things are be ready to get out, because fire is a scary thing. Property is one thing. You got to get out with your life.
His final message to the rest of us?
Get proactive. Get the weeds knocked down. Have a plan, an evacuation plan. And if nothing else, at least think through what you're going to do if it happens. And then during that time that you're thinking through of what you would do if it happens, then also have kind of a plan as to what to do after it happens.
Sean Moody, KSL 5 News.
We do have some information for anyone affected by the Dollar Ridge fire tonight. Mail delivery to more than 300 homes in that area has stopped, but the post office now says residents can come get their mail at the Duchesne Post Office. Be sure to bring your photo ID.
And a shout out tonight for all of you who've been smart with your fireworks. None of these major blazes were started by fireworks. Utahns got the message. We heard that message over and over and took it to heart and kept our neighborhoods relatively safe. So nice job.
And of course, we want to thank you for staying with us for this special report tonight. Keep it right here on KSL, on the air, online, and on the radio as we continue to watch all of the wildfires burning across the state and bring you urgent updates as soon as we get them.
Tonight's show is next. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.